Good morning, gardening friends. I'm Julie McDonald, and I'm here at my home in Flagstaff, Arizona. And today I want to tell you about compost ingredients, what to put in a compost pile or a compost bin. Now down here I have one that was just made for me yesterday, this red garbage can converted to a compost bin. You can watch a separate video on that. And now I'm going to tell you what you put in that compost bin. So one of my favorite things to put in is leaves. Leaves are just easy to find. I go out when people rake their leaves in the fall, pick up a bunch of them, bring them home, and that's kind of my base. I do a lot of composting in the fall. In the summer, you can use grass clippings or any kind of natural product that you might find. Now, what's really interesting about compost, people get very concerned about compost, that they're doing something wrong, that that things can go bad. They can't go bad. Decomposition is the natural, God-ordained way that things don't just pile up on the earth and then we're just covered with everything. We could not survive if there was not decomposition. So this is just a natural, normal process. Things will naturally decompose, and all you're really doing is helping them to either go faster or you're providing more nutritious soil. Now, what you see here is a lot of different ingredients, and this is the closest that I come to baking. So just enjoy, because this is my idea of mixing ingredients. So everyone knows with compost that you can use things like scraps, food scraps from the home, eggshells, and coffee grounds. Everyone kind of knows those items, but there's so many other things that will make your compost wonderful and will really cause it to break down more quickly. So you're starting with leaves or grass clippings, and then I have a pumpkin here. This is a pumpkin left over from Halloween. I find these on the street and pick them up. Very good. Any kind of rice or pasta product, bread products, those are excellent in the compost bin. I keep a compost pail underneath my sink, and it's about half full now. I put in any kind of liquid, I put in coffee grounds, important papers. I don't have to go to a shredder, I just put them in the compost. Takes care of it. And because they are, believe me, they are gone. So I keep this under my sink where it's nice and handy, easy to put things in. Now, you can get a really nice bucket with a lid, and so that might be a little bit more desirable for people who don't just want an exposed bucket, but for me, that works just fine. You can also put, as I mentioned, eggshells, but you can put full eggs. You can put flowers. Compost loves sugar. So here I have some syrup I'm going to add to the compost, some leftover Halloween candy that I snagged from my grandkids, and any kind of sugar, cakes, cookies, pies, alcohol, soft drinks, any kind of thing. Compost loves that. So anything with sugar is gonna really make your compost go quickly. I found a case of this soup in the bulky trash, and I considered eating it myself, but when I saw that it had expired in 2015, I decided that probably wasn't a good idea. But it's going to be great in the compost because what are the ingredients? Potatoes, carrots, clam broth, soybean oil, water. So all kinds of things that is really going to help the compost decompose quickly. I like to, now in Flagstaff, we're trying to keep the moisture into the compost. That's why my compost bin does not have holes like you might see. I want to keep moisture in. If you live in an area where it's very, very wet and you're having a hard time keeping it not so soggy, then put in newspaper, shred it up or just put it in whole, mix it in. That's why I have these gloves on. This is what I use to mix my compost. Stirring it just like you would maybe some kind of a baking item that I wouldn't do, but you put this newspaper in, it will help to dry out your compost. In Flagstaff, what I do with the egg cartons and also with newspaper, I wet them down, and even sometimes I'll let leaves soak because I'm trying to add moisture. Here's an interesting fact. a pine needle in New Jersey will decompose in 1 year. A pine needle in Flagstaff will take 17 years to decompose. So that shows the difference in what we're dealing with here because of our lack of humidity. So one of the things that I now want to read you something, this is so amazing here, about soil and about what your finished product is going to be, compost, which I have some right here and I'll show you in a minute. So this is from the Canada's Agriculture, Food and Rural Development. A single spadeful of rich garden soil contains more species of organisms that can be found above ground in the entire Amazon rainforest. A teaspoonful of soil, be just like that much, just hardly anything, contains more than 2 billion microorganisms, with the total weight of living organisms in the top 6 inches of soil can range from 5,000 to as much as 20,000 pounds. So that's just some fascinating information about compost. And this is what you are going to end up with. This beautiful, rich dirt that will be soil that is going to be so beneficial, especially to the vegetables. Perennial flowers don't need as much, but this is just like gold. Now, what you will want to do with your compost, your finished compost, is as you begin to put your ingredients into your compost bin, you want to take a shovelful, a handful, and you want to kind of sprinkle it through. It'd be kind of like yeast. Think of it like yeast. You're adding it, and those little microorganisms begin to decompose everything that they see. Now, another thing that is truly amazing are worms. These guys are not happy that I pulled them out of their bin, but here they are, and they're trying to go down. Beautiful red wigglers. They will be amazing in a compost bin and really help things to decompose more quickly. Now, red wigglers have to be fed. They're not for the garden soil. They don't go in the garden, but they are great for the food items that you're putting in your compost to help them decompose. Now, in my gardening book, I have an entire chapter on compost. So I'm just really touching on a few things here, kind of give you some vision, encourage you to try composting, not be afraid of it. And this is available on an ebook for 99 cents, or you can go to my website, which is in the link there, and pick up other books or read more about it on that blog about composting. But this will give you everything you want to know, and I have one full page in this book that gives all the different ingredients that can go into a compost bin. Now, to conclude, I just want to say people oftentimes think that there's things that, you absolutely cannot put in a compost. That would be meat, dairy, citrus, onions, and rose clippings. Don't do that. You'll kill yourself stabbing yourself. They never decompose. But just remember that that is a principle. In other words, you don't want to put a steak in your compost. You don't want to put a bunch of hamburger in your compost. But if you have a casserole, lots of pasta, lots of vegetables, a soup, a little bit of meat, go ahead and put that right in. That's not going to hurt. A few lemon wedges that were in iced tea or something else, that's not going to hurt. You just don't want to juice 100 oranges or 100 lemons and then put all those rinds in the compost. That wouldn't work. Same with dairy. A little bit of dairy is not going to hurt. Milk and cereal is going to be fine. Or again, in a casserole, a dish of some sort, you just wouldn't want to pour a whole gallon of milk into your compost bin. So I hope this is helpful to you. Check out my other videos, how to build the compost, also passive composting, which is a little different and helps with yard waste. So thanks for watching, and God bless your efforts to garden successfully. Have a great day.